Good morning folks, and welcome to John's Block, first one for July, and I'll get this in early. This is going to be the last video we put out now until the 1st of September. We will do some random bits through Instagram and Facebook just to keep everybody interested and hopefully give you some good food ideas. So we're taking a 7-week summer break after this one, and we're going to come back completely revamped. And we're going to do things slightly differently, which we're still working on, so I can't give you exact process yet because we're working on it. But basically there will be food items, there will be famous quotes, there will be sharing of cookery books, and there will be some food hacks thrown in there as well. What we might do is do all combined, so we'll do a recipe with a quote promoted from the book and link it in with a food hack as well. But for today, we are doing a stuffed chicken breast with pesto, mozzarella and garlic. And to serve with that, we're doing some sauteed radish and some fresh asparagus. And we're doing an onion butter jus sauce to go over the top. So it's a nice simple meal, but actually if it's presented well, it will look good at any dinner party. So we've also got some olive oil there, salt and pepper in my usual little pot next to the cooker, as you're used to seeing. Equipment wise, we're going to flatten the chicken breast. Now if you haven't got one of these, which is a meat hammer, a rolling pin will do the job perfectly. I have a meat hammer from my dim distant past, so I'm going to carry on using that. You're going to need some cling film to batter the chicken in between, and then it's just a little bit of patience. So I'm just going to say cut there for a moment. So here we are, welcome back. Cling film and camera are going to be the first bits of kit we're going to use. And basically, cling film is a nightmare, or can be. You get one of those posh machines, but I've got nowhere to keep it, so we have to put up with these wonderful little boxes that the supermarket sells. So, you've got a good length because you're going to double that over. So when that's done, tear it on there. And you won't need that. With the chicken, open it up and we're going to basically split it down the middle. Not all the way through, because you want to be able to flatten it in one piece. So you just want to take this all the way through so that when you open it up, turn it over, cling film. I hate it. Okay, so basically we want to batter this so it's thin. And the easiest way to do it is like this. Now if you haven't got a meat hammer, don't use the metal end, use the flat end, otherwise you'll tear the cling film. I said that's a noisy process. That should do it. So basically what I'm going to do now is just put that to one side and get a fresh piece of cling film. We're actually going to steam this to start with, and I'll explain why when we get to that point. So another piece of cling. I'm going to take it out of this battered piece. So we want a fresh piece for cooking. And you've got that lovely, lovely, lovely thin piece. Spread it around how you want it shape-wise. From there, I'm washing my hands because I need to touch other stuff. And as always, my favourite black cloth. From there, we're going to add a little bit of seasoning. So this is garlic salt. We want a little bit of pepper. And we're then going to line it with pesto. Now, it doesn't take a lot. You want probably 2 teaspoons will do this breast. You're just going to give it a smothering down the middle. Like so. Put it in there. That's the pesto done with. Next bit is the mozzarella. Now you can tear this, which is what I normally do because that's how it's made. We just want a thin lining down the middle again on top of the pesto. Small pieces, it will all melt into one big blob in the middle anyway, so it's just a matter of getting it so you've got a good load in there. And when you cut this, it'll be like a roulade. Okay, that should do us. Finish with that for the moment. Wash hands again. So, we're now going to roll that into a sausage. So, we don't want anything to come out the ends, so I'm going to roll that in up like so. Similarly, the scrag ends around this bit, like that. Now to roll it, if you try to do it with your hands, it will just fall apart. So the idea here is to use the cling film. Roll it like so. Roll it. Make sure your cling films are tucked under like that bit was. And then roll it into a sausage. So you end up with something like that. Now, because we're going to steam that, I'm going to put another layer of cling film over the top. And this is where we turn it into a sausage. Obviously the cling film will come off once it's cooked. So we're going to do that and that, and then we're basically going to turn it like that. And there you have your sausage, a stuffed chicken with mozzarella, some garlic, salt and pepper. Now that is going to go into the steamer. Turn that on number 9 as always. And put this in the bottom layer to start with. So it looks like that. Okay, centre it. That will take about 20 minutes to come to the boil and steam. While we're doing that, we're going to do the prep for the rest of the veg. So we want the little Swedes, radishes, sorry. Take the tops off, pull a little bit of string off the bottom, so basically you've got a little bit of string that sticks out there, which is the root, and the top, just take it so you've topped it like that, and then basically chop it in half. So these are going to get steamed slightly and then pan fried, sauteed off in a little butter. Once I've done these, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about keto and the keto contents for this meal. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised if, depending on how much you do or don't know about keto. I'm learning, and one thing I'm learning is about the good fats. Butter is a good fat, olive oil is a good fat, and those are the two that I have chosen that I will use 99.9% of the time, because I've always used them, and when I found out I could use them in keto, then fine. Keto is all about cutting down on your carbs. Butter and olive oil, well, olive oil is carb free, butter has a small amount. I'll give you the exact figures for this meal in just a moment. Just finished doing these. And these are basically going in the other layer of the steamer once they're prepared. And then the last thing to do is the asparagus. And once they're done, now if you want to be a little bit more delicate with these, you can top tail slice them. We had them in a stir-fried prawn dish last night, very thinly sliced, sort of Japanese style, which was lovely. I'm going to cook that when we come back in September, so you can see how I did that. I'm going to do that potentially as a live cook. So there we go. That's another part of the stew. They're going to go in there and just steam until ever so slightly soft. Still al dente, but we're going to do that. That's steaming away. Next, the asparagus. And basically all I do when I buy asparagus is I look at what I need and I think, right, okay, I'm going to take just a small amount off these. They're nice tips. If you want to be really posh and present well, you can cut them so they're all the same length, so the tips all end up the same length. My days of doing that sort of cookery on a day-to-day basis have long gone. I just want it to taste nice more than anything. I make it look as nice as I can on the plate with what I've got, but it's not all about presentation anymore. Presentation is for restaurants and things like that. I mean, like, how ridiculous is that? But it doesn't matter. So that's that. That will get sauteed off in there with a little bit of butter as well. So I'm going to sign off now completely, turn the camera off. We're going to come back once the chicken and radishes have steamed, and then we'll do the finishing off dish. The only other thing I've got to do is to slice that into a butter sauce, ready for a butter sauce, which I will do now. And basically it's half an onion, and basically slice it into 2 to 3 mil thick slices, and we're going to pan fry them off. Spot of olive oil to get them soft, and then add the butter in and the juice from the chicken to make the sauce. So nice and easy, ready to go. Okay guys, we will see you in probably about 20 minutes, half an hour. Take care. Hi guys, welcome back. I said before I cut that I was going to go through the figures with you, forgot to do that, for the carb content of this. I keep getting asked, do you have to count calories on a keto diet? Some people say yes, some people say no. I'm in the no camp because you're counting your carbs. You're on a keto diet which is all based around carbs. The important part is if you get the carbs right and you keep the portions right, calories just fall in and become irrelevant, and that's how I'm doing it. So let's go through the carbs in the ingredients. So chicken, 0 carbs. Mozzarella is 3.1 grams per 100 grams, and we used about 40 to 50, so I called that 1.5 grams. Radishes are 3.4 per 100 grams, and again a portion will be about 50 to 60 grams, so I called that 1.7. Asparagus is 4.9, and again that's per 100, and again we're probably going to have 50 to 60, so 2.5. Pesto, 1 teaspoon is 1.1 grams of carbs, so we had 2, so 2.2. Butter is 0.1 per 100 grams. Now I put down 0.1, but there's nowhere near there's 100 grams there, but we'll count it. Onions are 9 grams for a large onion. We used a half a small onion, so I put that down as 2.2, 2.5. Olive oil is 0. So that comes to the figures I put down, 10.2 for a portion size that we eat. Now even if you had that whole breast of chicken to yourself, all the radishes, all the asparagus and all the butter and onion sauce yourself, it would still come in at roughly 20.5. So 20-21 grams of carbs. Now once you've hit target weight, the way I do it is you use 20 grams of carbs to get down to the weight you want, and then you maintain that by eating less than 50. So 50 is your top for the day, which is very easy to achieve in my humble opinion. So that's your figures for that. I'll stick a slide in with these in it so you can understand it. Portion size we'll have a look in a moment once we've got everything ready. So I'm just going to put this down. I'll be back with you. So I've turned the oven on. I'll explain why in just a moment. Turn the steamer off, and we're going to have a look at what's in here. So the chicken is in there ready. The radishes are now sat in there. Oh, for some reason I've ended up with a hole one. I don't know how I managed that. I'm just going to chop them in half. They are hot. The only reason I'm handling these because I'm so used to handling hot food. So they will just be sauteed off in a little bit of butter just before we serve. So they can sit over there. And the chicken, there we go. should be a nice sausage. Okay, now that was a large chicken breast. I'm not happy that is cooked enough, so I'm actually going to put that back in, turn this back on, and give that another 5 to 6 minutes. Doesn't happen to me very often, but sometimes, especially when filming, I get a little bit too excited. Doesn't matter about everything else. What we're going to do now is, while that is finishing steaming, is I'm going to do the butter sauce with the onions. So we'll do the asparagus in there later. So frying pan, heat on number 8, because you're using a splash of olive oil to start the onions, and then we're going to add butter to that. So if you remember, we had a little bit of butter there. I'm going to put about 3/4 of that into this to cook down with the olive oil. The advantage of using butter and olive oil mixed together, as long as you don't get it too hot, the butter doesn't burn. The olive oil helps to protect it. Melt that down, and then we're going to very gently cook off the onions in the butter, and then you get your onion butter jus to go over the top. Spread those out. Once this comes up to temperature and the butter's all melted, then we're just going to turn that down a tad. Have a wooden spoon there for some reason. Not a problem, we will use a plastic one. The joys of sharing a house and not having a cook to yourself. So sharing a house, it's my wife and daughter, so so that's that. That's back up and boiling. I'm going to turn that down to number 7 so it just simmers. And we're just going to cook that for, as I say, another 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to turn off again and come back to you when the butter sauce is ready to do, and then we'll plate up. Hi guys, welcome back again. So we'll take the chicken off now, hopefully it's cooked this time. I wanted it so that basically it's firm, because the second part of its cooking is in the oven. And I had to take the cling film off to do that. So if it's not firm, that's much better. So again, we're going to take this out. And as you can see, it's held its sausage shape. It's now firm, much firmer than it was. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a pan here with a little bit of oil in it. Basically, I'm going to transfer it from the sausage, and the sauce I'm going to keep, which is what this plate is for. So we want to keep the juices, because the juices, look at that, that is awesome. So get your sausage shape, which is the target. You've got the juices there for your sauce. All we want to do now is brown it basically. So I'm going to basically transfer this fold side down, and then with my little spoon, fat that I've melted there, I'm going to pour over the top. You don't have to do this, you can just cut that and serve it if you want. We love food that has got a roasted brown finish to it. So all I'm going to do now is give that 10 minutes in a hot oven, 200 degrees, and basically that will then brown up. This will get kept to go in butter sauce shortly. With regard to the butter sauce, at the moment we have got onions and butter melted in there with a spot of olive oil. Those onions have gone soft. People often ask me, and they say, before filming, do I do a lot of prep? Do I make the recipe 3 or 4 times? The answer is no. I prep as far as I get it ready mentally in my head, and I then work out how I want it to look at the end. Most of the time, it's the way I do my cooking. I fly by the seat of my pants. So I change things as I go along. I wasn't going to roast that, I was just going to steam it. I decided I wanted to roast it to get the finish that I'm looking for. And that's what cooking is all about. It's adapting as you go. If something goes wrong, like the chicken wasn't cooked, you adapt. You think, okay, what can I do to make that better? Okay, and that's my style of cooking. Not for everyone. Some people like to get a recipe and go dum 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 dum. Absolutely fine. It's down to you. My method is always been fly by the seat of my pants. So I'm going to turn the butter sauce back up now. It's gone on 3, just softening the onions. I'm going to tip that back up, and then basically I'm going to tip this in there. Because that will add to the flavour. I'm going to give the plate a quick rinse. I'm going to use that to serve. And that's another example. I wasn't going to use that plate apart from serving of me flying by the seat of my pants. I love it, and that's why I enjoy cooking. If something goes wrong, then it's all about how do you rectify it without chucking the food in the bin. And I never ever chuck anything in the bin. However bad it goes wrong, it will always be edible, even if it doesn't look great. Waste is something we don't do in our house as far as food is concerned. We use, what's that? Ruby thinks there's going to be food. She's scuttling around down here. Ruby! Oh, you need to come see her. There's the camera. Oh, there she is. This is my little Ruby. She's a lovely little Norfolk Terrier. She's 11 years old now. 11 years old on the 1st of July. So, and she is my little Hoover, as you see from my videos. So, very rarely that she'll sit this quietly. She normally wriggles around, so I feel quite honoured that she's there for that. Anyway, I'm going to put you down because I've got some cooking to do. Rinse of the hands. And then we're going to get back to the sauce. Now the sauce is bubbling away to a point I'm actually going to turn it off because that is ready to serve. The onions are soft, pesto butter is in there, and that is now ready for me to plate up. If you want to do sauce separately, put it in something like that, sit it on the edge of the plate. It's just a night if you're doing a dinner party, just a nice little effect, and then people can do what they do on MasterChef. So I'll do that. Remember, I've cooked enough for 2 here, but I'm only going to plate up 1 meal. So we will do 1 little dish of this, like so. That'll go on there. I'm cooking this morning. This is tonight's dinner. The main reason for doing it is my daughter, the teenager, is still in bed, which is fantastic. It means I get peace and quiet to cook. And my wife has taken the mum out for the morning shopping at our local Rushden Lakes. So there you go. So the last thing to do before we plate up is to cook off the asparagus and saute off the radishes. So I'm going to do the asparagus first because we're cooking that from raw. And again, it's olive oil and butter mix. You get the best flavours out of it. And the way I do my asparagus is I lightly fry it and get it going, and then I add just a spot of water into that mix with a sizzle, and that just gets some steam going for it as well. And again, you can go online, you can find umpteen ways of cooking things. I do it by experiment. I see chefs on telly do things certain ways, I've then adapted accordingly. I say, it doesn't matter if you don't like my style of cooking, but find what suits my palate. It's all about getting the food tasting good. And all the ingredients I use will make it taste good. Turn that down from 9 to 8 so it doesn't burn. Learn your cooker, I've said this before, learn what your cooker is capable of, what number creates what effect on your food. Spot of water, as I said, just to help the process. That will sizzle away. While that's cooking, that'll take just a few minutes. I'm going to have a quick look at the chicken, see if it's browning. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm going to give it about 5 minutes, and then we'll be good, by which time the asparagus will be cooked and the radishes will be ready to saute off because they're already cooked. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, we're taking a summer break, 7 weeks off. After that we've got a new website going live. John's Block filming will be done slightly differently. We're going to try some different things again. It's all new to me, as I said to you when I first started this about a year ago, just over a year ago. So it's learning. I've got some great people working with me now to help me with my Facebook, to get the group working better so that we're getting out to a wider audience. invite your friends. I'll put the website details, the Facebook details all down the bottom of the page as I normally do. I wish you all a fantastic summer. Enjoy it. Let's hope we get the weather. For those of you that are wanting to travel abroad, I hope the government lift all the bans for you so that you can go off and do what you want to do. We're staying in this country this year. We're going back to my home county of Cornwall, staying with some family down there for 10 days. So really looking forward to that and praying for the weather. So, right, this asparagus shouldn't be far off. Another minute or so and that will be done. And I'm just going to take that out onto a plate to rest while I do the radishes. The radishes, if you like, replace potato. If you're not on a keto diet and you're still following me, then great. Add potatoes, add what you want. This was all about the chicken and making a healthy, well-presented dinner, hopefully. So, right, I'm going to turn that right down, so I'm going to change my mind again. What I'm going to do is when the chicken comes out of the oven, I put that on the block to rest, and while that's resting I'm going to fry off the radishes in the oil from the chicken. And that will add just another element of flavour. And it is all about using flavour. People that just take a pan and tip the fat down the sink, one, it's not good for your sink, two, you're tipping all that flavour away. And that is criminal. Whoever you are. Okay, I'm going to take the chicken out now. That's already cooked. Remember, if you do use a frying pan or anything, it's hot. I've done it a couple of times where I've taken the grabbed the pan straight with the bare hands, not great. Okay, so again, there's a little bit of cheese come out of the middle there. I'm going to put that on the block with it. Dish that up. That is going on at a relatively high heat, even though it's still hot. Number 8, and then my radishes are going in there. Okay, so this has got all the juice from the chicken in, a little bit of butter in there, some and oil, and these should just fry up absolutely beautifully. Flavour wise, they're going to taste of the chicken, they're going to taste a little bit of pesto. With most foods, it's just adding flavour. You add flavour to basic food, you should get a good result. So that is definitely cooked. Hold it with a pair of tongs so you don't burn your hands. I'm just going to nip the end off to start with. And that, I can tell you, it's cooked beautifully. Sharpen your knife. Say I've got to throw asbestos hands. Most of the time, that's exceptionally hot. So one portion of this for us would be 4 slices, we'll get 8 out of the whole thing. And then put that on the plate. If you want to fan it out a bit, you can. You can see there's a little roulade finished there. I'll take some photos of it. Piece there, and some of this lovely cheese can sit on top. And then we've got the asparagus come out. Portion wise, do what is good for you. If you're counting carbs, then like we are, small portions work. They keep your calorie counter, they keep it good. Those are browning off nicely. Okay. And then these are your sauteed radishes. Presentation wise, not how it looks. The better it looks, the better it is. So, and then all I'm going to do is pour my sauce au jus over the top, and then you have your plated meal. I will take some photos of that as well, as always. There you go guys, one stuffed chicken with mozzarella and pesto, onion butter sauce, some asparagus and some radishes which have been sauteed. I will have that later. So, thank you very much for your time again today. As I say, 7 weeks time we're back, 1st of September, and we will be hopefully back on track for season 3, which we're going to run to the end of the year. We're going to do one season per year. We're not going to say this is season 3 and next is season 4 because it's all 1 year. So, and from next year I think we're just going to call it John's Block 2022 and then go from there, and hopefully things will become a little bit simpler. It is all learning, you know, I'm doing this from scratch. I've never been to school to learn how to talk in front of the camera. I've never done any acting. If I had, it would probably be awful, but I do love food, and whether you like my style of cooking or not, I've said it's all about the ingredients and looking after them and making them work for you and not throwing things away. We did a session on about out of date, but this is all about, you know, if you make a mess of things. And as you've seen from today's video, this has not been a perfect tricking session because I don't practice before I do turn the camera on. The professionals do, but then they work on their art form. And that's where we're at. We're at the starting point. So thank you for your support for John's Block. We will see you on the 1st of September. Have a fantastic summer. Take care of yourselves, enjoy your holidays, enjoy your family, enjoy your food. If you're losing weight like I am over the summer, then enjoy whatever food plan you're on. Take care, see you soon.